Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this wonderful Mother's Day. I hope you're having a great day. Please join me in our opening prayer. The energy of love is within us and is us. Whole and complete is the I am that we are. We awaken to the truth of our being. We will this be done within and without, and may we come to recognize that we receive all that we give. We know that we have been forgiven ourselves when we forgive others of all grievances held within our mind. May we not be led into temptation by the voice of separation, but instead may we transcend all illusions. For ours is the power, love, and peace of Christ consciousness that is found within each of us, who is but the perfect extension of the one mind and heart that is shared by all and is our birthright as the holy extensions of love itself. Our affirmation of faith. We believe in one God, the author and energy of all life, whose love sustains the universe and all things found within it. And our 5 Christ principles. 1. There is only one energy in the universe. That energy is love, at all times active in everyone, everywhere. 2. We are the divine energy of love, and that energy is found throughout the universe and in all things, whether seen or unseen. 3. We create our experiences by what we choose to think, feel, and believe, thereby establishing our responsibility for our own choices. 4. Through opening our heart center, we connect with the energy of love and bring out the Christ within us. And 5. We express our desire to be of service when we live and demonstrate Christ consciousness in all our affairs.
Thank you, Miss Penny. And I'd like to welcome everyone who is here, to those who are watching, and to those who will watch later in the week. Welcome to the Church of Christ Consciousness. We're here for those who are truly ready to live the truth of their being. Well, today, as Miss Penny said, Happy Mother's Day. And what I want to talk about today is not just a celebration of mothers and what this day really is, but I also want to talk about the divine feminine. And I'd like to start with this. If you still have your mother, cherish it. Day after tomorrow, I will have lost my mom. It would be 3 months exactly. And there's a meme that goes around every once in a while on Facebook. It says, when you're a child, you're so close to your mom. When you reach your teenage years, it's, oh, my mom, she's always after me on for something. Then in the 20s and 30s, you don't have time because you've got your life, school, marriage, maybe children of your own. And then if you're blessed, when you reach upper middle age and your mom is still there, you want just to spend as much time as possible. And then the day comes where you say, if I only had one more day, just one more. So this is for all moms today, those who are still here, and for those who have passed on, but they're still with us in our heart. I've written something special for today, and I'm going to ask Miss Penny to read it for us. It isn't long, but it'll get us started.
In every heartbeat, the spirit of a mother's love. There's a kind of love so woven into the fabric of who we are, we sometimes forget it's there until we feel it stir in the quiet moments, rising like a memory wrapped in warmth. It is the love of a mother. This is love more than biology or even proximity. It's presence. It is the echo in our laugh, the softness in our touch, and the ache we feel when we miss her, and the joy we feel when we remember her. Whether she is still walking on earth or watching from beyond the veil, her love lives in us. It always has. For those of us whose mothers remain near, we may not let a day go by without recognizing the sacred gift they are, not just for what they do, but for who they are. Today we recognize their patience, their protection, and their fierce tenderness. Their love may not always have been perfect, but it was always deeply human, and within that humanness, it is divine. And for those of us whose mothers have transitioned, may we know that not even death can silence the spirit of a mother's love, for it continues in every heartbeat, in every sunset, and in our every prayer whispered in the dark. Our mothers live on through the way we live, the way we love, and the way we carry their light forward into the world. Today and every day we honor them, not only with flowers and words, but by becoming the love they showed us. Our love is the gift we share with them. So to every mother, those who held us in their arms, those who mothered us with their hearts, and now those who held in the arms of eternity, we say, thank you. We carry you with us always.
Thank you again, Miss Penny. There is something special about a mother's love. And as I wrote, it's not always perfect. But that's all right. It doesn't have to be perfect. As I wrote, it's human. It's part of the human experience. And I'm going to take this just a little different than what you might expect. A mother's love represents the divine feminine. And I recognize that if you are new to certain concepts, you may never have heard of what the divine feminine is. And I'm going to start with this. The divine feminine was never meant to be less than or not equal with the divine masculine. It's an equal partnership with the divine masculine. But what does the divine feminine actually represent? It represents love. And by the way, in early Christendom, it was called Sophia. The divine feminine had a name, Sophia, and it actually meant wisdom. And I want everyone here watching, and who will watch later in the week, recognize the wisdom that a mother carries. That wisdom is the divinity. The divine feminine is the womb of the cosmos. You don't have to believe me. It's in the very first verse of the Bible in Genesis. Chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. But the earth was void and without form. And the Spirit of God moved across the water. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. The Spirit of God moved across the water. That's Sophia. That's the divine feminine. And by the way, if you're not, again, familiar with this concept, sorry about that, but the divine masculine and the divine feminine exist within all of us, whether we're male or female, it has nothing to do with gender. It's what it is. For the divine masculine and the divine feminine are God, whole and complete. The divine feminine is the love of God. It's the divine feminine that brought us into existence. Not taking away from the divine masculine, but today is Mother's Day. So let's keep it on moms and the divine feminine. Understand that the divine feminine truly is represented by women, by our moms, who bring us into the world in water, through water, just as it says in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. And the Spirit of God moved across the water. Jesus himself said, when he was talking to a particular Pharisee one night, late at night, and Jesus said, for a man must be born twice. And the Pharisee was like, I'm old. I can't crawl. My mother's dead. How am I supposed to crawl back up into the womb? And Jesus said, no. You are born once of water and second of spirit. Again, go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. It's right there. He was actually talking about that. That is our beginning. And it always has been. And our mothers bring us into this world. They nurture us. They love us. And whether you believe it or not, they did the best they could with what they had at the time. I know some of us wish they could have done better. Some of us think that they did a wonderful job. No matter, they did the best they could. The divine feminine is the heart. That's why we all have the masculine and the feminine. For the masculine is the mind. The feminine is the heart. And I know, Genesis chapter 2, is it any coincidence that if you look at the symbolism, that there was first Adam, the mind, and God wanted Adam to have a mate, so he took a rib, well, where's the rib? Right at the level of the heart, and separated the heart from the mind. Men tend to be all realistic. It's logic and reason. Not very emotional. Some people say women are overly emotional, that the female is emotional. I'm not going to argue one way or the other. But I do know that they listen to their heart. Yet, I do want to say this. No matter which gender we are, whether we're male or female, we have been taught not to trust our heart, that our heart will guide us wrongly. That if we follow our heart, we'll find that love hurts. What a crock. I mean, absolute crock. Love doesn't hurt. We can make it hurt when we hurt each other. But love, that's the divine feminine that is God, that is Sophia, that is the Spirit. And there is nothing more unconditional than the love that is a mother, that is shared by a mother, that is shared within the divine feminine. A mother will stand by her child, come hell or high water. And that's the beauty of the divine feminine. The divine feminine is always with us. Now, sometimes I recognize we walk off. We're the ones that leave. But the day comes that we want that again. And the beauty is, it's always in our heart. What I'm going to call our divine mother is always with us in the heart. That is God. And some may think that that's blasphemous. But I'm going to ask you this. And I want you to seriously give it some thought. Those who say God is masculine only, then where the hell did he come up with the female? If he didn't have any knowledge about it, where did it come from? Oops. God doesn't oops. God thinks everything through to the finest detail. So there is a divine feminine, just as much as there is a divine masculine, or what we call the Father. By the way, you call it the Holy Spirit if you grew up in Christianity. The Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God moved across the waters. Who was it that did the work? The Spirit. That is the divine feminine. Brings the thought, which is the masculine, into existence, into creation. Isn't that a mother's job? And by the way, please forgive me. Share one other thing. And if you don't believe me, Google it. Better yet, pull it up on YouTube and actually watch it happen. When a male sperm meets and gets through the outer layer of a female's egg cell, there is a flash of light. And if you've never seen it, watch it. It is absolutely incredible. We have filmed it. Yes, it is the release of phosphorus. Hello, fluorescent lighting. If you don't believe it, look it up. And the Spirit of God moved across the water, and God said, "Let there be light." And there was light, and he saw it was good. That was the beginning of creation. It was the beginning of us. And it was the Spirit, the divine feminine, that brought it into existence. You cannot separate or lessen the divine feminine from the divine masculine. It takes both. They are equal. They are God. That is God. And doesn't it say, same book, Genesis, that we were created in their image? And God said, "Let us make man in our image." Have you missed it? What part of did you miss? Let us make man in our image. And by the way, man does not mean man as in male. It means humankind. And in Genesis chapter 1, he created what? Both male and female all at once. Unlike in Genesis 2, where it's separated. There's a whole story. We'll discuss that one day, but not today. whole story on why that happened. Let us. Who the hell is the us? As my mama said, ain't no man birthed a child yet. And that's true even in Genesis. Let us, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the father and mother, and yes, I know to many that's blasphemous. But where did it come from? It had to come from someplace. It wasn't just oops. It's part of the grand design of creation, which mimics God the Father, God the Mother, or what we call God, because you cannot separate them. The entire Old Testament is about marriage. Have you read it? The entire Old Testament is about a Jewish marriage, the Jewish wedding. And boy, it goes on for books and books. It's about the union of the masculine and the feminine, because we have separated the mind and heart. But we all have a mind, we all have a heart. It doesn't, again, matter what gender. I am not speaking of gender right now. I'm speaking of the divine principle of being, of the masculine and the feminine that exists within both of us. For we all have the ability to love. We all have the ability to nurture. We all have the ability to be wise. We all have the ability to think with logic and reason. Does it matter what sex you are? No. That's God. That is God. That is God. The divine masculine and feminine united as one. Jesus, at the Last Supper, his final prayer of the Last Supper after the first, what we call communion, was, Father, may they know that they are one in me as I am one in you. Unity. We have been separate for so long, we don't know of anything else. The mind doesn't trust the heart. The heart sits quietly and patiently and waits for the return of the prodigal son. By the way, the prodigal son, the masculine, is the mind that has gone off wandering. That's the prodigal son. That's the wandering. And when the son returns, the son is welcomed, not shamed. Well, it is time to bring the mind back and establish its equality with the heart. And that's what Mother's Day really is. It is to bring the mind and heart back together so that we can claim our oneness, our unity in the truth that is God, that is the Father and Mother. I know most of you probably never heard anything about it. That's all right if you want to. Keep scrolling. However, do a little research. And again, I will ask you the question. If God didn't know anything about the feminine, how could he have created it? But then you say, God knows everything. Well, of course God knows everything, because he is everything, both the masculine and the feminine. If it doesn't exist, then he doesn't know anything about it. So it must have always existed. And it does. We call it the Spirit. The wisdom. The love. Why would we separate ourselves from that? Why would the mind go off wandering? Because it thinks it can do a better job. It always has. But we see when the mind is out playing by itself, the kind of trouble it can get into, called war, conflict, and everything else. Boy, we really are slow. What'd you think about that? Did you ever read the Bible? Did you ever read it and instead of taking it verbatim, actually asked the heart, the spirit within, what does this really mean? What is it symbolizing? They're just words. They're words strung into a sentence, that are then strung into a chapter, the chapters are strung together to make a book. And all the books are combined that we call the Bible. It was never meant to be taken literally. I know what my cat does in the litter box. Don't take anything literally. Ask. Ask the wisdom that lives within you, within all of us. What does this really mean? And recognize. And again, go look it up. You can find it pretty easy. You can Google it and you can actually find it many good YouTubes referencing it. Jesus spoke Aramaic. By the way, there were only 7,000 words in Aramaic. 7,000. Now, let me ask you, how good could you communicate today if there were only 7,000 words? Meaning, each word had many meanings. We're blessed with how many millions of words in English? How many? So why would you take something that from a language that only had 7,000 words and you're not exactly sure which meaning it meant and then take it literally? That's the craziness. But that's the insanity that's the mind. Because the mind went and wandered away from the heart. It wandered away from love, from the nurturing. And it doesn't trust the heart. It does not trust love. So today, this Mother's Day, I'm going to ask everyone watching, or who will watch later, and those here, to once again trust your heart. Find out what love really is and that it lives within you. When Jesus said, knock and the door shall be opened, do you think he was talking about some gate or door in some place? No, he was talking about within you. He didn't say that heaven was in the sky or that heaven was in some future time. He told us that heaven is within us. Heaven exists within us. It lives in our heart. Knock, and the door will be opened. And no one can close the door once the Christ, the one child of the divine masculine and feminine, which, by the way, is humanity, opens the door. You will never shut the door again, because you will always know that's home. And you will unite and know what it means. And you will stop questioning and wondering and wandering. So you will quit the wondering and wandering. You will quit both. Because you will know with certainty that you are a child of God, given everything at creation. Now, you have every right in the world to deny it. That's up to you. Under the law of free will, we each have the right to deny anything we choose. But it only hurts us. So today I'm going to ask you this. And I will end it here. In Christianity, we speak of the atonement. What is the atonement? I'm going to share with you what the atonement is. The atonement is finally us denying our own denial of the truth of unity and oneness. Atonement, at-one-ment. I heard people say it means at-one-ment. Okay, that's cool. At-one-ment. At one mind. At one being. Unity of the mind and heart. That's the atonement. But we must stop denying the truth and live up to what we really are in truth. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Why can we do it? Because God told us we could. Gave us everything to do it with. But we don't trust. Now it's time to trust. It is time to live as Jesus asked us to 2,000 years ago. It's time. And it is time to recognize that we are each other's brother and sister because we are all one in God. Boy, I could go on for days about this, but I'm not going to, because there are other Sundays coming that we can talk all about this and what it really means and how we can live it. Because let me tell you, when you do live it, your life that fast changes. Never will it be the same. Because the prodigal son and daughter has come home. And that's all we were asked to do. Come home. So listen to your heart. As it says, my child, come home. Come back. Come home. Discover who and what you have always been. You just forgot. So accept the atonement. Deny your own denial of the truth. And recognize in this moment you are whole, you are complete, you are divinely loved. Because you are that very essence of love. And if you want to shoot me for blasphemy, shoot me. But I'm still going to say it. If God created us in his image and likeness, then we must be as he is. As they are, the divine masculine and the feminine. We are as they are. When are we going to recognize it? When are we going to walk it? When are we going to stand up and live it? And stop selling ourselves short. Again, it's your choice. I'd like to close this with a prayer that I wrote. A special prayer for Mother's Day and the Divine Feminine. And Miss Penny is going to read it for us.
A Mother's Day prayer. Beloved presence of love, today we give thanks for the ones who gave us life, who carried us in body or in spirit, who nurtured us with hands, words, and silent prayers. We remember the warmth of their touch, the wisdom in their eyes, and the way their love lingers like a fragrance that never fades. For mothers who still walk beside us, may we cherish them with open hearts. For mothers who have returned home, may we feel their nearness in the quiet and their love in the stillness of our soul. May their legacy live on through our kindness, our courage, and our compassion. And may we never forget that in every heartbreak, we are still being mothered by love.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Penny. And I think that was every heartbeat. Within every heartbeat is the mother's love, is the divine love. Guys, all I'm going to ask, remember your mother. Remember the example of the wisdom, the love. Cherish it. Mine's gone. Has been gone now for 3 months. And like that meme that goes around to Facebook, what I would give, not even for just a day, for a minute, one more time. That is the love that I want you to remember today. That is the love that we came from. And it has never left us. Not ever will it leave us. So cherish it. Remember it. And live up to it. And share it with all those who feel lost and alone and unloved. That's our calling. Take care. I will see you next Sunday. If you found this talk worthy, please like the video and please share it. It helps more people see it. So thank you, and we'll see you next Sunday.